Welcome to Fazza Poetry World, where hearts turn into poetry. When I speak of her, it is never just speaking. It is like opening a hidden door inside my chest, where emotions don't walk, they echo. Her name, it doesn't just come out of my lips, it travels from my heartbeat, slowly, softly, as if even my soul is careful not to rush it. There is something strange that happens to me. Something I cannot control. My face changes, not by effort, not by choice, but as if my heart quietly takes over my expressions. A smile appears, not the kind I give to the world, but the kind that belongs only to her. My eyes, they begin to shine with a language that words have never learned to speak. And my voice, it softens, as if even my tone knows. She deserves gentleness. People notice. Of course they do. Because feelings like these are not meant to stay hidden. They ask me, who is she? What makes her so special? Why do you change when you talk about her? And I truly try to explain. But how do you describe someone who feels like peace in a noisy world? How do you put into words a person who is not just seen, but felt? She is not just someone in my life. She is a presence, a calmness, a quiet kind of happiness that does not shout, but stays. When I think of her, my mind rests. And in a world that never stops running, that feeling is rare. She brings light. Not the kind that blinds, but the kind that gently fills dark corners, without asking for attention. And her heart is something different. It is kind in ways that cannot be taught, soft in ways that cannot be faked, and pure in a way that makes you believe goodness still exists. When I talk about her, I don't feel like I'm describing a person. I feel like I'm describing a feeling, a beautiful one. Even my family notices. My friends too. They see the difference in me. The way I speak, the way I smile, the way I pause when her name is mentioned. My siblings, they are the most curious. They ask questions again and again, trying to understand what I feel. And I smile, because even I am still understanding it. There was a time when I used to hesitate. I was afraid. Afraid of what people might think, afraid of how they might judge, afraid of exposing something so real, so personal. But then I realized something. True feelings are not meant to be hidden. They are meant to be respected. And hiding them does not protect them, it only silences them. So now, I speak freely. Not loudly, but honestly. I don't hide her name anymore. I don't hide my smile. I don't hide the way my heart reacts. Because loving someone with truth is not something to be ashamed of. Sometimes, I wonder about her. What if she could hear me? What if she knew how deeply she is felt? Would she smile? Would she look down in shyness? Would her heart skip a beat the way mine does? I think she would. I hope she would. Because every word I say about her is not exaggerated. It is simply insufficient. She has changed me, not loudly, not suddenly, but gently. Like rain that doesn't make noise, but still changes the earth. I have become more caring, more patient, more thoughtful. Not because I tried to, but because she exists in my thoughts. Her presence, even just in my mind, has made me better. And our connection, it is not something that can be explained in big words. It lives in small things, in short conversations, in simple memories, in quiet moments that somehow become unforgettable. Every moment with her feels like something worth keeping forever. And I want to be there for her. Not just in good times, but in every time. I want her to feel safe, to feel understood, to feel like she is never alone. Because she deserves that. She deserves someone who stays. When I talk about her, I am not just sharing a story. I am sharing a piece of my heart. She is not just a part of my life. She is a part of my thoughts, my emotions, my everyday. Because of her, life feels softer. Because of her, even silence feels meaningful. Because of her, I understand what it means to truly value someone. Sometimes, I sit alone, and I think, out of all the people in this world, how did I get someone like her to exist in my life? And that thought, it makes me emotional. Because not everyone gets this kind of feeling. Not everyone gets someone who becomes a reason for quiet happiness. Even the smallest things remind me of her. A word, a moment, a random thought, and suddenly, there she is, in my mind again. Like she never left. And maybe, she never does. At the end of everything, if I had to say just one thing, it would be this: she is special. Not in a loud way, not in a temporary way, but in a deep, lasting way. My feelings for her are not passing emotions. They are steady. They are real. They are true. And no matter how life changes, no matter where time takes us, my respect, my care, and my feelings for her will remain unshaken, unhidden, unforgotten. Because some people are not just part of your life. They become part of your soul. And if I continue from where my heart paused, then I must admit, what I feel for her has only grown deeper with time. Because some feelings, they don't fade. They settle. They root themselves quietly and become a part of who you are. She is not just someone I remember. She is someone I carry. In my thoughts, in my silences, in the spaces between my words, where her name often rests unspoken. There are moments when I am surrounded by people, conversations, noise, laughter, yet somehow, my mind drifts back to her. Not because I try, but because she lives there, effortlessly. And I wonder, is this what it means? To truly feel someone, to have them exist within you. Without needing a reason, sometimes I replay our small moments. The way she speaks. The way she listens. The way her presence changes the atmosphere around me. Nothing dramatic. Nothing loud. Just peace. And I realize, it's not always the big memories that stay with us, it's the quiet ones. The unnoticed ones. The ones that feel simple, but mean everything. I don't need grand gestures to feel connected to her. Even the smallest exchange, a few words, a short moment, becomes something I hold onto. Because when it comes to her, nothing feels small. Everything matters. And there are nights, long, silent nights, when I sit with my thoughts, and her name becomes the only thing my heart repeats. Not out of loneliness, but out of closeness. Because even in distance, she feels near. And I ask myself, what is this feeling? Is it love? Is it attachment? Is it something beyond both? Maybe it doesn't need a name. Maybe some feelings are too pure to be limited by words. I don't want to rush it. I don't want to define it too quickly. Because what I feel for her is not something temporary. It's something that deserves time, understanding, and patience. And if one day, life gives me the chance, I want to show her everything I have been feeling. Not through long speeches, not through complicated words, but through actions. Through presence. Through consistency. Through the way I stand beside her. Without needing to prove anything. Because real feelings don't demand attention. They show themselves in quiet loyalty. I want to be that for her. Someone she can trust. Someone she can rely on. Someone who doesn't leave when things become difficult. Because caring for someone is not just about loving their smiles. It's about standing with them through their silence too. And if she ever feels lost, I want to be the calm she can return to. Not as a hero, not as someone perfect, but simply as someone who understands her. Because understanding is the purest form of love. And yes, there are moments when fear touches my heart. The fear of losing. The fear of what if. What if things change? What if life takes different turns? What if this connection remains unspoken forever? But then I remind myself, some feelings are not meant to be controlled. They are meant to be felt. And no matter what happens, what I feel for her is something I will never regret. Because she has already given me something rare. A version of myself that I didn't know existed. A softer me. A deeper me. A more human me. And that is something I will always be thankful for. Even if life writes a different ending, even if paths change. This feeling will remain a beautiful chapter in my story. But deep down, I still hope that one day she understands everything, without me needing to say much. Hope that one day our silence speaks louder than any confession. Hope that one day I can look into her eyes and not hide anything anymore. Because some connections, they are not ordinary. They are rare. They are meaningful. They are once in a lifetime. And she feels like that to me. Not just someone I met, but someone who became a part of my journey in the most unexpected and beautiful way. So if I continue speaking, I will only say this. I don't just think about her. I feel her. In ways I cannot fully explain, in ways I don't even try to anymore. Because not everything needs to be understood. Some things are simply meant to be felt. And she is one of those things. And if I go even deeper into what my heart has been holding, then I must confess. She is no longer just a feeling I experience, she has become a part of my existence. Not loudly. Not in a way the world can clearly see. But in a quiet, permanent way that stays within me every single day. There are times when I don't even realize that I am thinking about her, because she is already there. Like breathing. Effortless, natural, constant. I don't need reminders. I don't need reasons. Her presence in my thoughts does not come and go. It stays. And maybe that is what makes her different. She is not a phase. She is not just a passing emotion. She is something my heart chose without asking me. And I accepted it without resistance. Sometimes I wonder about destiny. Was she written in my story? Long before I even knew her name, was there a moment when life quietly decided that one day, this person would mean everything to me, because the way she entered my life, it didn't feel random. It felt meant. Like two paths that were always going to cross, no matter how far they started. And now that she is here, even if only in my thoughts, everything feels different. Not easier, but more meaningful. Even my struggles don't feel as heavy anymore. Because somewhere, in the middle of everything, there is a thought of her that brings calm. And that calm, it saves me. There are days when I feel tired of everything, days when my mind feels crowded, my heart feels heavy, and nothing seems right. But then, just one thought of her, and something soft touches my soul. Not enough to fix everything, but enough to remind me that not everything is broken. And maybe she will never fully know this. Maybe she will never realize how many times her unseen presence has helped me stand again. But that's okay. Because some feelings are not meant to be shown. They are meant to be carried silently, sincerely, and I carry her, with care. Not as a burden, but as something precious. Like a memory. You are afraid to lose, even if it only exists in your heart. There are moments when I imagine a future. Not a perfect one, not a dream-like fantasy. Just a simple life. And somehow, she is there. Not as a distant thought, but as someone close. Someone real. Someone I can talk to, without holding back. Someone who understands, without me needing to explain everything. Because with her, even silence feels complete. And I don't know if life will ever turn that imagination into reality, but the feeling itself, is already something beautiful. And I don't want to rush it. I don't want to force anything into existence. Because what is real does not need to be forced. It finds its way. And if this connection is truly meant to grow, it will. Naturally. Gently. Without pressure. Until one day, maybe everything I feel will not just stay inside me, but reach her, too. And if that day comes, I don't think I will say much. Because some emotions are too deep for long explanations. Maybe I will just look at her, and let my silence speak. Because my silence has always known her name. And my heart, it has been speaking to her long before my words ever tried. So if I continue from here, then let me end this part with something simple, but true. She is not just someone I think about. She is someone I feel, in every quiet corner of my being. And no matter where life takes me next, that feeling will remain soft, steady, and endlessly real.